Hey, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the SupahBoy Hybride, the portable pocket console. Yeah, this is more like a hybrid system that we can use to plug and play in your television, but also use like a portable device. Here on the channel I did review, let's say, the previous model, but I just wanted to check out what is going on with this Hybride thing. Like, is this like any good, and how much fun is it playing actually on this device? They have a couple of different versions when it comes to the Hyperkin SupahBoy, and in this video we're just going to take a close look. I think this was one of the last released versions. So let's get this thing out of here and let's see what we're going to get more. Ooh, we do get like a very nice sticker. Play well, thank you for your purchase and support. Yeah, let's see about that, how great it is. So then of course in here we do have like all the necessary cables. And everything is still in new condition. I did buy it like second hand and not like brand new. Having the AV out cable. I think this is like, how is the thing called? The whip? The strap-on? I don't know, man. Now I'm saying it, it's going to be sounding even more weirder. But the thing is, they have like the Type-C collection, and so that's very great that they're having a Type-C or for the device itself for charging. Of course, we're having a protection SupahBoy portable pocket console, and of course the manual that explains everything, how everything works. So I'm very curious, what are we going to get with this version, and is it any good? Because the first version I was okay, I was satisfied with it, but there were some things I really didn't like. But let's take a close look at the device itself now. Okay, the SupahBoy, I think there were two different colors that we're going to get with this model. So they did implement some new features. So to begin with, we have the option to change out the aspect ratio, volume control and the headphone jack. And of course it also uses for the brightness control. At the top we're going to get ourselves I think I need to switch it. Yep, there we go. That's much better. So having the on and off switch over here. Then we're having reset. Here we're having the option to change between PAL and NTSC. And then we're having here the status LED for showing if the battery, or basically like if the battery is charged up. And of course powering on. Then of course having the Type-C for charging. The only downside of this device is that we're only having an AV out, and where some of the Chinese versions or the Chinese portables have an HDMI out. And at the back we're going to get ourselves like the battery compartment. So let's remove this and let's see what kind of battery they're having in the inside. Aha! So what we're going to get are the two, I think they were like called the original one, 18650, that was what it is. But basically put two of them together. Let's get this thing out. But what I do like about it, you can remove it and replace it. If you have any problems, you can just upgrade it with a new battery. I don't know if there's any space for a bigger one, I think not. But it doesn't matter. I think it's enough to give you a couple of hours playtime. But the construction itself, the shell here, you can see like it does have like some very nice curves, and when you're going to hold it, you can just feel it. But it is not like the most comfortable handheld I have ever felt. So the overall, let's say, quality, it's quite good, but there are some things that I don't really like. The thing that I do like is the buttons. Over here, the ABXY, they feel quite nice. Absolutely. Also the shape of the buttons. Absolutely great. The D-pad, that's like this very nice curve to it. I really love the when they're giving them a curve to place, let's say, more comfortable. But it does have like a very long travel and quite a lot of resistance. Then over here we're having like the rubber select and start. Another cool thing they implemented with this version, that they put some rubber like dust covers over here. So if you don't want to use the controller ports, that's one of the cool features. If you're going to plug it into your television, you can use an original controller. That's something we're going to try on later on. But let's charge it up, because I think, yep, it's dead. It doesn't do anything. So let's charge it up and let's start playing. For charging, I'm using a 2000 milliamp. And yeah, you can use like 1000, but it will take like a very long time to basically charge up your device. But don't use a fast charger, by the way. Alright, the system has been set to PAL. Let's power on the machine itself. And let's see how it is. So the first thing I do notice, like the audio sounds better than the previous model. So when it comes to the brightness, are we going to put it on level 4? It looks absolutely hideous. But in my opinion, the brightness is not great at all. When you're going to hold a button, it will swap between resolutions, so that is great that they implemented it in the new model. Let's see how long it takes. Alright, so there we go. I must say that or the SupahBoy or the Hyperboy, how you want to call this thing, I'm just going to be honest, like, it's not one of my favorite systems to play actually, because I have played so much with the different, let's say the Chinese version, that are more comfortable than this one. Another disappointment that even with this newer model, you can see like they didn't even implement an IPS display. In my opinion, that is just a must-have when it comes to the price point of a product like this. But also let's do a quick side-by-side comparison with the older model. And I can tell you, they did improve a number of things. To begin with, when you're pressing the buttons, they swapped basically these long travel buttons, they went for the short travel ones. So that is one of those like great improvements. But when it comes to the D-pad, they did improve, but still does have like a lot of, let's say, tension underneath the D-pad, and it makes it not like super comfortable. And the shoulder buttons, I must say the feel itself and the way everything like looks, the looks is way better with the newer model, but they feel slightly different. Let's check out how it is when adding the game itself. So the cartridge just gets in very easy and gets out also without any problem. Depending of course the age, because if the pins is getting a little bit wear and tear, you can like easily like put them in and get them out. But beside that, it's not bad at all. But how is it with the audio? They did improve it with the new model. Let's power on the old one, especially with the intro. Now let's try it with the other version. And you can just hear that sounds so much better. Despite the newer version doesn't have like a beautiful IPS panel, I can tell you that also this one has been improved. I'm just going to put them side by side and you can see like the grass is beautiful, it looks more greener than when it comes to this model. You can even mess around with the setting of the brightness if you want to. So let's put it on the lowest setting just to show you what I mean. Let's turn it all the way off and let's grab the lowest setting. And when you're going to put them side by side, you can already see like the new version is so much better and looks so much better even on the lowest brightness setting. But let's take a close look at the different kind of games of the Super NES, different chips, regions, multi-game cards and effort drives, just to see actually what can this thing do and is it capable of running everything. Already showing you the Super Nintendo game or the Super Famicom game, Super Mario Kart. But I can tell you, it's like it runs pretty damn great on this. No problem whatsoever, weird glitches. So that's pretty damn cool. I must say that when you're looking at the overall gameplay, it's the same like with the previous model. I don't really notice any, let's say, big improvements there. But what is a big improvement is the audio quality. And of course the aspect ratio option is just a very big positive side. But the D-pad, I don't know man. I don't really know what to think about it. Alright, so let's try a different region beside having the Famicom and the Super Nintendo or the NES, Super NES, the PAL edition. Let's turn it on and let's of course put it to the NTSC part. Next up, let's try the US game, but I just wanted to also check out how will it work with the D-pad. Because it doesn't feel that great, but I'm really curious how it's going to be about trying to do some moves. Surprisingly, it seems to be very responsive. But again, like, I know what's going on with the buttons, but... And that's the thing with it, I really don't like the you know, like, I don't really like playing on it. Simply because the way how the buttons are mapped, like, it feels so clunky. Ugh. Okay, so when you're going to boot up a game in a different region setting and it doesn't do anything, let's turn it off, let's put it back in PAL, let's turn it back on, let's turn it in the right position for recording. And there we go. Let's see if it's going to be recognizing Wario Land 2. We're also going to get ourselves like the special buzz around it. Yep, everything seems to be working like a charm. So we're playing Wario Land 2 on a portable PlayStation 2. It makes no sense whatsoever. I do see some glitches. So the compatibility with this thing is not super great. Also the image doesn't look like that very nice, like on different systems I've tested it. So when it comes to compatibility with the Super Game Boy, that's not great. Another test I wanted to see is like, can we play some games from a multi-game card? Having here just the Strike, one of my favorite games to play. Oh boy. See, and there we have like the problem with this D-pad because it's having such a long travel and so, let's say, way too stiff when it comes to, let's say, the press. It's not like very comfortable to play. So where we had like the option to play actually some, let's say, some fighting games, nah, this is not great at all. And if you're going to combine this with an, let's say, flash card, yup, you can actually play it like that. It's crazy, so you have like the full library of Super NES, of course, beside the special chip games. But I think it's pretty damn cool. So for this final double test, we're going to try out Super Street Fighter Alpha, or better said 02. And the reason why, because it's one of those, like say, less released games. And let's see if it's going to be in great support with the Hyperkin. Another thing is also we're going to implement the controller, so we're going to use this thing like a game system. But unfortunate, we don't have HDMI. But what I find really cool, that we have like a beautiful crisp signal output. But the interesting thing is like the aspect ratio only is being implemented when it comes to the tiny screen at the handheld. Alright, so let's use the game system like a freaking console. I think that's a very cool feature. I don't understand why they didn't implement HDMI. That would be so much better. That would be like the ultimate upgrade. Like that's the only thing I'm basically missing on this device. Of course, if you just want to play retro games, and I mean like retro games on a CRT, of course then you can use it like this. But if I want to use like on a CRT, I will just grab my original Super Famicom or Super Nintendo. But that works pretty damn good. Love it. They can plug in your original controller and play like this. The SupahBoy Hyper Beach, they improved it in many different ways. I think one of the most cool things that they implemented a better display, not an IPS. I wish they added like an HDMI and IPS panel. For me, it would be like a great piece of hardware. It's not like the most comfortable device out there, but again, like for and overall what you're paying for it, it's not super bad. Let me know in the comments what do you think of the Hyperkin. Do you love to play Super NES games this way or just want to grab yourself an original system? Thank you for watching, consider subscribing, and it would be great to see you in the next video.